Electric Cafe.
Another really cool option as the 90s went on into the 2000s when it comes to the cardboard were the Cure box sets that came out in 2006 and 2007 where they basically had a sleeve, the original cover and back for the most part, and then you had a fold out which included the original album and a second disc of B-sides and demos. And then, of course, inside here you also had a booklet, and it was a pretty extensive booklet as well, with additional pictures and I think there's some lyrics and stuff like that. But just a really nice package to really honor each album, because I believe they did this with every album, and it just folds up really nicely, just really nice and compact. Really sits well in your CD bins. Nice additional sleeve as well. Just really clean, very clean packaging on these ones. They did these for most of them. I have a couple. I think I have the Wish one, which came out I think the end of last year. I think it was, and then also Head on the Door. Those are the three I have of the remastered ones. But I'd like to get all of them someday. Another similar style to that one is the Ultravox Extended, which carried all the remixes of most of their 12 inches, and that one just kind of also had another sleeve, and didn't have an inner sleeve, booklet necessarily, but still a nice package overall, and just really clean artwork, and just nice and compact for a double CD, but just very clean and no real options for something to break, or for the most part, or to get ripped off. Just very clean, very lightweight, about as lightweight as you can get because there's no booklet here, but nice packaging overall on the Ultravox Extended. These cases with the slip-ons got really popular as the 90s and the early 2000s went. Here's another one. This one's by Kirk DeGreggio, Off-World, some techno. Of course, he was in the As One. Great, big fan of Kirk's. Aqua Bassino had one also, just to show a couple more. Sunkiss, some techno in here. Kenneth Graham, who I work with, and also David Alvarado, if you know their techno work. Also, you have I can never pronounce this band. Is it Karugian or something like that? I'm always going to butcher that name, but they had this on their original one as well, on their CD. Later on, Beastie Boys, on some of their remastered editions, did that. So inside they would, make a nice set here, and then also the inner sleeves as well. This one actually folded out to 4 sides with the artwork in there. But nice glossy look too. Very, very clean and very clean looking. But yeah, these sleeves were interesting. Kind of I don't know if you guys like them. They did a pretty good job of not breaking for the most part. Like I don't think I ever had one where the sleeve broke and it was just disconnected. But you figure if you take this out enough times, you would think it would break or you would lose this, but for the most part, it's nice to have kind of a cover on top of a cover. Very interesting for the time. You don't see a lot of those nowadays. A couple more Superstition techno compilation. Another one of their compilations with these sleeves. You can see this one I did use a lot, and it definitely got beat up, with the corners and stuff like that. Also, here's another one. Goes this way. Of course, the Northern Exposure Sasha and Digweed's Expedition. This one actually comes out of the top versus sideways. Interesting one. And also, you have these kind of packages being used a lot nowadays with DVDs. Here's Simple Minds Celebrate. I think this was 2016 or 2017. So you have it on CD. I think it's 2 disc set, and then you have, or it's 2 CDs, 1 CD and 2 DVDs, or the opposite way. I always forget. 2 CDs and 1 DVD. So you have that, and then you have a nice package, nice booklet inside. So a really nice presentation on a live album, to include the CDs with it. And that seems to be something a lot of the bands are doing now when they present these nice kind of cardboard box sets in these for these live albums and tours, is to bring out the CDs along with the live album or DVD. Really cool box set for Simple Minds. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, but Wire magazine, when they used to include the inner CD for as an added bonus. A lot of them were from Domino Records. These are some Domino ones from the mid 2000s, early 2000s. But they put theirs in like a recycled cardboard, which was kind of interesting. Also, this one was from Wire with Matador Records. They went to a little bit glossier one. This one was also inside of a Wire magazine. They also had other Fabric, their mix CDs, their series, which is still going on, probably 20, 25 years now, maybe even close to 30 years now. They've been doing mix CDs or mixes by DJs, and but when they actually released them on physical CD, they actually put them in these little cardboard holders. This one's kind of a newer CD. The artist called In the Branches, and this was a really nice artwork in here. I really like the artwork in here. But also, it's interesting because I don't know if you can see the CD holder spindle, but it's just it's actually foam, and you just kind of press it lightly, and it comes off that little foam knob. Very unique. So it just pops on there. It stays on there pretty well. That's kind of really nice. And then just folds out. Got the artwork on the back with liner notes. Doesn't really have much room for a liner notes jacket in here, and that's probably best because if you put any kind of jacket in some of these thinner ones, they're going to kind of bow and make it kind of oblong and kind of ruin the integrity of the nice little case. But kind of a nice little case here. I like this with the little kind of an CD holder versus the plastic container thing. Here's a later one, your more standard cardboard. Boards of Canada's Tomorrow's Harvest. Just folds out nicely for the CD inside, and then you got the liner notes in here. This seemed to be kind of the one that most people started to use, kind of becoming regularly for anybody who went to the cardboard ones. Just nice and compact, and still not overly oblong or ruin the integrity of the box because there was a huge pamphlet in here. Just a nice, probably 10-page pamphlet inside, and just a really nice design overall for Boards of Canada's Tomorrow's Harvest. Also, there's this one by two people in a room, and it's called Endless Summer. Interesting design. It's almost like almost like a cardboard. Very, very thin, almost like a greeting card. Very thin, but then you got the little foam thing inside that holds the CD. Nice solid design though. You really have to kind of press your finger in there to make it feel like it, because there's not much substance to what you're pressing the CD onto. So it feels like it's not catching on, but I guess in some way you can sort of put pressure on that part that has the hole underneath it and kind of make sure it stays on there. But interesting presentation on that one. Just kind of like a greeting card. Almost stands up too. Interesting. Also, you had these ones that are a little bit thicker, but then you had just somewhere to pop the CD in. These are probably the cheapest ones you could probably make, I would imagine. There's not much to them, although the glossy work is nice. I mean, not the most inexpensive ones. Most inexpensive ones would obviously be, just a computer sleeve or something like that. But, just nice to put a pocket in there and just drop a CD in there and Very nice and lightweight, but still a nice glossy effect. And I would imagine you could probably still stuff something in there along with the CD if, it wouldn't make it too much thicker. But, nice option there. Here's also another interesting one. This was a Japanese release. It feels like a storybook. It feels like it's really hard cardboard, like a book. And then you also, like the Japanese love to do with their releases, you got sort of the OB stripe for the CD here. You can see I got it at Tower Records before they closed back in like 2007. But kind of a nice design on here. It's like a cardboard book with the CD in here. It's kind of hard to get the CD out, to be honest with you. You sort of have to let gravity do its job and take the CD out. But still, unique kind of CD, unique kind of design overall. Very cool. Kind of feels like a wedding book or something like that, if you know what I mean. It kind of has that kind of like thicker feel, like wood, almost like as if there would be some kind of like material on top of the wood here. It kind of feels like that without that material. Very, very interesting. Also, this one's a really nice design. Von Bowman, number 2. I think it's 2019 this came out. Just very nice, hard cardboard too. Really nice. Very sturdy. CD just pops out of the side. And you still have enough room for another page, which is nice. Really nice, cool design on this one. Like the colors as well. Very cool. This one, Invisible Threads by Mark Hone. Very clean design. Not much to it. Really, it's harder cardboard too. But then the CD just kind of pops out of here. No really additional liner note or anything like that. Just, but it is nice to have harder cardboard like that. But still really hard to see in the bins. You know what I mean? It's really hard to pick this one out. Especially when I have like the only reason what helps is I have quite a bit by Mark Hone, so it helps that I have a section of his to find this one, because otherwise it would get lost. You have some nice ones like this. This is a good reissue of Dead Can Dance's debut album, which has a couple additional tracks on it, but still just one CD. But nice design. You got the CD on this side, and then you got the booklet on this side. But as you pull it out a lot, as you continue to, the CD does bow a little bit. I got this brand new probably, I don't know, maybe 6 months or 8 months ago, and it's already kind of bowing out. So it's not the most ideal package, but it is nice and compact. But it looks great when it's brand new, but I can see it already sort of, bulging a little bit. So I don't know if I like these ones that much, but they are a nice size, and they are still it's better than no spine at all. This one's nice too. It's almost like a greeting card size as well. You just fold out, you got the artwork. Nice design, nice and clean. Small. Still, again, a little bit thin on the spine. Not the most ideal, but I can't imagine it get much cheaper than this when it's just, glossy pages with one place for the CD to come out. Very, 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 very basic. Very basic. Tim Hecker's Mirages. Thankfully, the music is not very basic. I also really like the designs of Barren Heavens CDs. They were a indie rock band that had 3 albums in roughly about 2008 to about 2016 or 2014, somewhere around there. They had 3 albums. But the lead singer, he went on to do direct movies and things like that, so he doesn't, I guess, record in Barren Heaven. But man, I wish they did, because I'm a big Barren Heaven fan, and I hope to review these 3 albums in the near future on my channel. But I really like the art, the packaging on this one. It's just inside, and you got a space for each CD, and the booklet just slides out. Doesn't slide out the greatest, but it is nice and compact, and of course the design is great. You got the a little hard to do it backwards, but the CD just comes out this way, and obviously the CD comes out the other way on the other one. But it is kind of a bear because this one, Bear in Heaven, because this one also has the pamphlet as well. It's kind of a smaller, but you can see the designs on the CDs. Really cool. Kind of matches opposite the artwork. Very cool. Also have this on vinyl, and then you have a small pamphlet in here. But nice design overall. It's just a little awkward, but it is to have two CDs. You know, have two CDs. You know, and to be that small. You know, you can't get much more streamlined than that. Also, I think that was their first album. This is their second album. Kind of similar, except it's just one CD. You know, inside of here comes the artwork and the CD. It can come out the inside too, but this one I like better because, you know, it does come out the outside, which is a lot easier to grab. But awesome artwork, awesome design, very cool. Bear in Heaven, great band, great band. I don't run into a lot of Bear in Heaven fans. And this is their last album, another trifold, very similar to the last one. Artwork on the inside, lyrics on the inside. You know, you pull out the CD out. Very nice, solid. You know, they do a good job on their packaging on theirs. They don't blow out too much. I mean, for as much as I've heard these three CDs and pulled these three CDs out of the package, it's not very, you know, out of shape for the most part. So pretty good, but it does kind of bend over a little bit. Like it should be like this, but in your bend it kind of, I don't know if it just slides over time, but it should be more straightforward. But still a solid packaging and really cool artwork and even better music. Also, John Hopkins, Immunity. Nice job on his album. Kind of has that greeting card feel as well. You just pull. This one actually does have a inner sleeve as well on the CD, but nice packaging overall. Nice and simple. You know, can't get much more basic for that, and still have, you know, a place for the booklet to be in the CD. Also, a lot of ambient artists just doing the most thinnest cardboards possible. These are the side ones. These are by Numina. Jesse Salo, I believe his name is. It's been a while since I talked to him, but really nice guy, great music. Numina, some of his these are actually still sealed too. These are kind of side versus you know, top, with the artworks kind of sideways, I should say. Very cool. And then you talk about the Insane. You talk about Aphex Twin. Just, you know, he was definitely taking the piss when he made this long of, and then just put absolutely nothing inside it. This is Zero from 2014 album. You know, just the intense fold up version. You know, so that was an interesting packaging he did on that one. Obviously, having a little bit of fun out of you know, just how he markets it. Here's Adam Shake's Resonance. Basically a 3-panel. You know, has some of the label artwork in there, a little bit about the information, and then you can pull the CD out from the inside there. So that's a 3-pack version of that, or a 3-panel version of that. Here's Christian Vogel's Remasters Classics from 93 to 98. Very nice. Nice and clean double CD. This is probably one of the best newer packages that I've seen. You know, you got enough room to know it's a nice box set feel. Like it has that box set feel of, if you know, because it's definitely 2 CDs thickness, but just nice cardboard. You know, nice and sturdy. Good stuff. Also, here's a Delson compilation that did the same. You know, 2 CDs on one side, artwork on the other side. No liner notes or anything, but still a nice package. Great design, as Delson usually does. Here's an older version of that style. You have 2 CDs inside. This is Carl Larkin's Chronicles, but this one actually has a, you know, inside has a small booklet in there. Nice though. Not as good as the newer ones. The newer ones are a little bit sturdier, and especially in the CD holder. But you can see these ones interesting. These don't have the little spindles that break off in here. It's kind of like a pressed in circle, which is very unique. I've never seen anything like that. Here's another interesting one. This is the sound of season 1 with Sven Väth. Nice cardboard, your standard cardboard fold out, but then it has the liner notes have a nice little spot for it to come out. This is about a 6-7 page or about 8 page booklet, and just kind of pops in there. Very nice. That one's nice. Great packaging on that one. It's too bad they went away with this one. This was the first sound of season 1. I don't know how many they're up to. This is the only one that I ever bought, but because I was following Sven Väth really hard back in 2000, as I was through the 90s. But just nice packaging, nice artwork. For a mix CD to have this much put into it is pretty rare these days, and they did a great job with this. Some of the artwork on the early. So here's kind of the best of both worlds on the Frontline Assembly Millennium Retrospect double CD. Great glossy artwork, double CD, and then you have the booklet pulls out right out of the pocket there. Great packaging on this one. Nice and simple, and it doesn't feel like it costs a lot of money, which is, the glossy look and the great graphics and the shine is fantastic. But I can feel it doesn't really cost that much to make, as much as one might think to look this good. But, probably the best cost-effective option to look this good and hold 2 CDs and a booklet. Really nice style here. These Frontline Assembly retrospects on Roadrunner are really cool. Another interesting one was these Cocoon early compilations. This is compilation number A and B. It's a normal 3-panel cardboard fold out, but then what they did is they put the artwork in there. They actually made it part of like a book, and I guess it's just glued on there, but interesting to put the artwork in the middle of that, fold it over like that. Nice though. Very similarly, here's the this is the other compilation, either A or B. I don't have my glasses on me, but I have some writing in there. But yeah, just a nice booklet in there in the middle of the two. Very cool. Another great looking one for OK Computer by Radiohead for a double CD. You got the nice double CD with the artwork that comes out of the corner over here. Just really good presentation on here overall. Nice and compact for sure. Perfect. This one did it a little bit differently. Sender Berlin's on Trezor Records. They put the CDs on the outside. It's a double CD with the artwork in the middle. Just a little bit different on that one. Very cool design though. Very cool. Kind of like what I was talking about earlier about some of these CDs, the spindles coming off because of the glue. Here's a double retrospect CD on Peace Frog Records. And you can see when you fold it out here, the middle CD's broken off and the glue, is all on the back and, here on the plastic. So when they went to this particular cheaper plastic, it seemed like these would come off more. And I don't know if it's probably also because of this one's kind of got more of a glossy feel, but it just didn't hold up to, to some usage. Still a great compilation of techno music, nonetheless. Here's a David Sylvain compilation called Victim of Stars. It's a double compilation. I think this came out in 2013. It kind of has this feel of like, older newspaper. Like recycled newspaper, and because of that, and the back is kind of whitish. It's kind of prone to fingerprints and getting dirty. So in that way, it's not the best, but overall, this one sticks to the CD spindles stick to the cardboard a lot better than some of the glossier ones. Still, fantastic album, that's for sure. David Sylvain, an amazing artist. Here's another one with a similar design, Aphex Twins, 26 mixes for cash. You got both CDs over here, and then the pamphlet comes out of the edge, or it comes out of the middle, whichever one you like. Solid packaging on this one. Nice feel though. This one, these plastic CD holders are a little bit better on these ones. Not sure if you can see it, but these ones are a little bit better than the later plastic ones, but still not better than the earlier plastic ones. Again, just a different feel. I'm not sure if it's recycled plastic or what, or just not feeling as good as the earlier box set double CDs containers feel, but still great CDs. And then you have a similar style. Here's Trax Records. This one's a 3-disc set though, so it folds out. 3-disc set of wax tracks, best of. A lot of great music on here. You still have an insert that comes out of here on the edge here, but you know, this is still kind of a cheaper plastic, but you know, so far it's held together pretty well. But really cool. Retrospect on the amazing Trax Records house label from Chicago. This is a 4-panel one by Johnny Nash and Suzanne Kraft called Melody is Truth. This one's probably, again, similar to that Palm Bowen one. Just double CD in the middle, fold out in front, fold up in the front. Nice and compact. Very minimal looking, but nice and hard too. Keeps the CDs nice and secure and they don't fall out. Still doesn't feel as good as the more glossier ones, like that Frontline Assembly one I showed you. Here's an older one that's kind of similar style and still kind of hanging on, but still made pretty well. Same style, 2 discs in the middle, artwork and information on both CDs, on both sides. No booklet, but you know, just folds in nicely, folds up. Northern Exposure, Sasha and Digweed. Nice packaging, but you know, for going on almost 30 years old, still feels pretty solid. So these cardboard ones just were the way to go. So back in 2012, My Bloody Valentine reissued a couple albums along with their new single, with their new album at the time, and they did a great job on these packaging. And these CD cases are a little taller than the normal CD cases, probably about, I don't know, maybe half an inch or so. But inside, they're really nice. They feel great, and they feel like something you'd want to collect. They feel special. They're kind of just double CDs. A couple of them are a little different. This one has the CD in one side of the booklet. Kind of has a nice greeting card feel. You know, this one's similar, but it has an extra fold out. So this one's 3-panel. And then probably my favorite is this one, just because it's a little bit cleaner and the glossy, and it's got a 4 panels, but just nice and clean presentation. This one's a double CD. I think this is the one that has the B sides on it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this one's the 2-disc set. But yeah, 1988 to 1981. So this one has some of the singles, some of the great period of My Bloody Valentine from 88 to 91. But just an excellent job they did on this new album, and also these 2 retrospects. Nice. This is a Quantex 1000 vacuum tubes. Kind of a 3-panel, very thin, but it's interesting the way it holds the CD in here with this little like door option. You open this up and the CD just falls out, which is kind of, you know, not the best, but kind of interesting. I mean, it holds it in there pretty well, but you know, I'm not sure if it's the reason, if I've played this one so much and it's been scratched up, or if I've used it in the car or let somebody borrow it, or if it's this holder on why it's scratched. But I do have a sealed second copy whenever this one stops working, because I love this CD. Here's Biosphere's reissue of Padishink. Basically just a fold open, but the cool thing about this one is a little bit different. Is both CDs have an inner sleeve. which is great, and it still keeps the integrity of the packaging really well. But yeah, Pat-A-Shank by Biosphere. Also, Biosphere's Microgravity. Same thing, but this one's glossy. Inside, both inner sleeves are designed and colored. Really nice design. You can see he signed it there for me. And just nice presentation for a box set. Really nice. And great packaging on this one for sure. Here's Larry Heard's Cerebral Hemispheres. About as basic as you can get. Double CD, bam. You know. Here's Actresses, RIP. Nice and simple. Both sides. Artwork out of one side, CD out of the other one. Nice and compact. This is Moby's All Visible Objects. This one has a really nice feel. Pretty standard, you know, with the case. Artwork comes out of here with the liner notes. But just the feel of this one. And it feels like the glossy. It has the feel of like a Polaroid or like a printed film. It feels that good. It's really nice. That's Moby's all visible objects. Here's a couple more examples of just the basic fold out. This is Sublime Records. I like on this one how it exposes the CD. You know, it's kind of cut in short here, so you can see the CDs inside easily, which makes it easier to grab. Really nice artwork on here as well. Sublime, some ambient techno, Japanese techno label from the 90s, Sublime Records. Also, I really like BV Dubs, the techno, dub techno and ambient dub artist. His are just so basic. You know, just a clean picture on the front, artwork, CDs right there. You know, nice and thin. You know, not the best for picking out of a CD bin, but, you know, nonetheless, just, you know, nice and ergonomics. This is Seeing the Cakes, the Moonlight Butterfly. Kind of the opposite example of the previous one I showed you, where you pull it out and you can't see the CD because of the artwork, and you almost have to bend open it to pull out the CD, so it's almost falls out because it's so hard to, you know, to pick out. You know, you have to let it either slide out, or you have to sort of open it by putting some pressure on the spine to give enough to release it. It's kind of not the most ideal, but still a great CD. And David Sylvain's Sounds of the Beehive. Nice one on this one, very similar. A couple I showed you. Artwork inside. Has enough room for the booklet inside. Nice design overall, though. Can't get much more simpler than this. This is Imploded View. And just, you open it up and the CD just comes out right there. Nice and easy. You know? Track listing on the back. Super thin. Here's another one like that by Plastic Man, aka Richie Houghton. Nice and easy. Just pull it out right there. Boom. Very cool. Another interesting package is Kate Bush's Aerial from 2007. Basically, it's a 3-panel, but you're able to pull out both CDs from the top through the inside, which is really cool. I'm not a big fan of the booklet coming out of the inside. You know, I'd rather pull it out from the outside. Makes it a little easier. But because the booklet, which I feel is probably about 15 pages from touching it right here, it does make the case kind of bow out a little bit, and so you can see it's kind of losing its integrity and folding over a little bit. But still a cool packaging from the CD aspect to be able to pull both out from the top like that. Really cool. That's that's Kate Bush's Aerial from 2007. So this is the second Island People CD. I think this came out in 2021. Has this little strap on it to open up the CD, which is interesting. Kind of gives a very DIY very arts and crafts feel, but just kind of interesting. When you close it, you just pull it around, and then that holds it in place. Interesting. That's Island People, their second CD. This is one of the cleanest, most basic packages that I've seen. This is Krill Mamina's album, and just very simple, but just has the CD right there. No booklet, unfortunately, but you just can't get much more simpler than that. But it's just the feel of it. This feels a little bit sturdier than what it looks like. It's very thin, but you can see it's just a touch thicker than you would think for something that is so basic. Just with it almost feels like it could have something inside here, but it's sealed, so it just feels a little bit thicker. But it's solid for a thin packaging. This one's really nice. This is Recondite's 2014 album called Iffy. If you see the normal CD here, normal case, it's just a little bit bigger, and it's nice, like it's kind of like a harder cardboard. Really fits well. You can see it sticks out, also because of the artwork and the color and everything. But nice and compact, and it has a great feel to it. Just kind of substantial for such a small cardboard. It kind of has like a book feel, which is really cool. And that's Recondite's Iffy. Here's some random cases. This one's on 12K Records. Just kind of an interesting material. It's kind of like a much thinner cardboard, almost like paper. Here's a cool kind of letter feel by Shinichi and Toby. This is his Butterfly Effect from 2014. Copy number 12 out of 1,000. Kind of opens up like a letter, and then inside has the CD with the track list on it. Nice and clean. But it's great when artists make releases feel special. Like putting some thoughts into it and some nice design to it. Almost looks like something you get in the mail in like the 1950s or something. It just kind of has like a really cool kind of DIY kind of feel about it. Just very cool. Here's Alvo Noto's Xerox number 1. He has a series of this going. This one's a little bit, these are a little bit taller than your normal CD. You can see the size here. Almost the size of a DVD. And then the CD is attached inside of it. Very interesting. If I opened it fully, it would almost fall out right there, but interesting package. Very, very DIY for sure. Interesting package. But yeah, all of them are like that. If you ever see them, they definitely stick out. Here's definitely a unique one. This one's by Miles Tillman. It came out in 1999. You can see the font is raised underwater, and then it's still a basic sleeve, but CD is very basic, very DIY home. But then the artwork is kind of like a matted black, with red lettering on it, and then raised title. Very interesting, different. This one's one of the most unusual CD cases I've ever seen. So the outside is like a paper almost. It's almost clear, but it's colored. It's like a greenish. And then the CD is inside here, and it folds out, and it's basically the CD's inside, and it's like a 9-panel with the information on it. But not much design on it, just kind of some lines. Very, very interesting. And I guess you just put the CD in here like this, and fold it up. Like it's like almost some kind of like Christmas packaging project or something like that. And then just slides in this paper sort of thin bag. Very interesting. Never seen anything like that. Still numbered. Still numbered on the back here. Copy 332 of 500. Talk about a handmade CD. Here's Jack Danger's Music for the Planetarium. It's even called Hand 006. It says Brainwashed Handmade Series. And basically you just fold open it and the CD's in there. Like there's nothing to hold in the CD. It's literally like a place card for a table seating with the design on the front. Music for Planetariums by Jack Dangers. Of course, Jack Dangers is from Meat Beat Manifesto, if you know him. But just the most basic, basic do-it-yourself that I've seen. I'll have to get a plastic sleeve and then put this in just to keep it safe. This one's a kind of a unique package here. This is Radio 4 by Rod Modell and Michael Mantra. Copy number 276 of number 500. Steel sealed. It's like a postcard feel, and the CD's inside. I still haven't opened it. I've had this for a good 20 years, 15, 20 years, I think, since a little bit after it came out. But it's kind of special because it's still sealed, and it's kind of an important CD if you know Rod Modell and Michael Mantra. Just a special collaboration they did. But interesting that they kind of put it in a postcard feel and then sort of just put it in a wrapper that doesn't really fit it. Just an interesting way to house a CD. This is an interesting CD here. It's by an artist named Fader, and the album's called Shades of Light. Basically, the cover is just a pull out, but you can see here that it's all open here, so it kind of exposes the design here. Shades of Light there, hard to see, but plus the track listing here, it just kind of fits in here, and has a cool design, all black on the back. Very cool design for a small artist kind of doing a run of CDs. Just makes it really cool to receive very unique artwork like this and packaging and a very limited run of CDs. I really like these packaging. These are the CDs that they make for the SACD series, like Mobile Fidelity and stuff like that. Some of the high-end series of CDs. This one's the Juan Atkins Model 500. This came out in like 2012 or 2011. Digital Solutions. I like these packagings though. It's really nice, clean style, nice and sturdy here. You still get the nice spine label, but just kind of the next evolution of the standard CD. Packaging really nice and clean, a little bit rounded on the outside. Very cool. There's also on New Groove, the Burrell Brothers, kind of a compilation of their music. So yeah, just really cool CD cases. Also, Rush Hour used these on their bigger CDs. This is Kenny Larkins, The Chronicles. Kind of has a DVD feel like it, but you open it from the side here. Very nice collector's kind of feel. I'm a big fan of using the DVD size packages for CDs. Makes it look really special. Another kind of interesting case. This is In Existence, who the artist's name is Martin van der Vleuten, which is a good friend of mine. This is OK Truth, Eternal Beauty, and No. And just kind of a DVD package, a very DIY looking, kind of looks very fairy tale-ish. And inside with the CD, he put, all these hand done, postcards, just with designs on them. Just very cool. Very cool artwork. Yeah. Great touch. Very, very cool looking. Very unique. In a DVD package to boot with some great music. Great stuff. That's In Existence. I think it came out in like 2006. Really cool ambient. Another interesting package is Hawkwind's album. This is their live album, Leave No Star Unturned. It's kind of a slide out package. It's very thin, almost like a DVD. Slides out to sort of reveal a postcard, the artwork, a little booklet. And then the CD here with the case on here, and then it just has like a little holder for it. Kind of interesting. So I guess you put the artwork in here like this, put the postcard over it, and then you slide it back on. So if you guys grew up through the 90s and early 2000s, then you guys definitely remember the CDR period where, you know, if you wanted to make a mix CD or record your favorite music, most people did it on CDRs, whether it be on a standalone CDR like something like I have, or you burn it on a computer or a external disc. You know, you had CD sleeves that were as basic as a paper sleeve, you know, just like you would see buying a program, and this would be the loading disc. Just put it in here, and that was as simple as can be. Then you had some see-through ones as well, right? Then you had these were kind of the computer version of the earlier ones that I showed, where maxi singles started in the late 90s. They kind of had this very, very basic style of CD, but this became kind of the CDR version holder for CDRs for quite a long time. And then you had these kind of CDRs. Here's some unreleased music from Sensorial that they sent me. You know, cool holder, but you know, there's some D&Tel in here. Just a cool, you know, kind of cool CD holder. And then you have these like computer ones, right? Double sleeves on the outside. You know, you could. The cool thing about these were kind of like your, you know, if you guys remember those CD holders that hold like 80 CDs or 300 CDs, and you put them in your car or you stored them away. This was kind of the same feel. It was kind of your kind of felt inside, and the CD would nicely slide in. I love these things. I have a couple boxes up here where I just put these in, and you can flip through them, you know, for loose random CDs. And the great thing also about it is they fit the artwork nice and perfect, and you can do it on both sides. You know, for loose CDs, it was great. Here's a loose copy of Tupac's All Eyes on Me and Scarface. You know, just some loose. I'm not a big hip hop fan, so I have some loose ones in there that I don't necessarily, you know, have the covers for anymore. You know, very cool. And then you had the most basic, literally a plastic sleeve with a, you know, with a kind of envelope feel. Very basic. Here's some more of later albums. You know, just using different colors. You know, here's a sort of an orange one. This is an ambient artist, and then they decided to put it into a bag. You know, very cool. Then you had some black ones. You know, here's a Red 3 by Dave Clark. You know, I kind of shoved that one in there. That wasn't originally in there, but it was that style of case, though. You know, because you can see from the type of artwork, it was one of those thinner CDs. You know, I stuffed this one in there too. This one necessarily wasn't supposed to be in there. This one's a blue one. I put Sander Kleinberg's My Lexicon single in there. Just threw that in there just because I had it laying around. You know, then they had clear ones like white, and hard to see that one in the light, but it's actually green, not blue. This one's purple. Another kind of unique CD. Press down the little thing, and it shoots out the CD. How cool was that? Pop out. Really like that one. That one was cool. This is Derek Carr's album called Home. But yeah, just really cool design on that. Very unique. Those are just some random sort of computer style and CDR holders. Here's some more random cases. Data Blonde did some really interesting packaging with these. These are full see-through plastic, and they kind of open up. Kind of hard to open up, actually. Very cool. The kind of the artwork's inside the plastic, if you can kind of see that. So it slips in the artwork, and then it's kind of a plastic case, you know, very interesting. So yeah, you just pop it open, and the CD's inside there. Takes a little bit of pressure for sure to get it open, but interesting style. Also, there's a couple other labels that did a bigger one. This one's this one came out of Merc. This one's Aura 2 compilation. A little easier to get open. This one has artwork on the inside, but still the artwork kind of surrounds the inside of the plastic wrapped around it. Here's another one. This one feels like it has some loose CDs in it. Let's look inside. Not holding up CDs very well. It's a double copy. This is my friend's compilation back in the day. Looks like it doesn't want to hold on very well here, but I'll probably have to take them out of here. Very interesting. Another plastic one. Very cool. How about Pet Shop Boys Very? That was an interesting CD case with the kind of Lego feel and just a sticker on the back, and it was very interesting. That stuck out very well. Orange. Wonder who did the packaging for that. Very cool. Then you have things like clear cases with nothing on them. These are Aphex Twins. A couple of Aphex Twins singles. Just a CD. That's all you see inside, and a little sticker on it. You know, a little sticker on the front. This one doesn't even have any information on it. I think the only reason why I knew this was Aphex because of I think it said Aphex on the sticker, on the buying sticker. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. It's all, it doesn't say anything on it. You know, here's another interesting one on a 3-disc by Offland. Which is really interesting. Just kind of a clear design, you know, on both. Just goes in there, and then the CD goes in there. Almost looks like something out of Matrix. Right? Very cool. This artist did theirs on a Ouija board. Plastic sleeve. Says goodbye on it. Crazy, huh? It's kind of like a 3-disc CD, but cut in half. Or are these 5-inch? Are these 5-inch or 3-inch? I always forget which ones. I'm not a collector of these type of CDs, but I always thought this one was interesting, and I bought it when I saw it. Is how often do you see something like this, a Ouija board on a CD that's cut with a different looking unique case? This was kind of a unique one by Sense, one of those small ones. Kind of like the Beatles did a bunch of these back in the late 80s. These really didn't catch on, and I guess it's because of the material on there. I mean, this one has 4 songs on here, you know, but just it's from what I can remember, you can only put like 30 minutes on here at the most, maybe 20 minutes. So it just didn't really catch on, especially when the maxi singles caught wind in the late 80s and really took off. But just kind of a, you know, interesting DIY, and I think this came out in 2010 or 2011. So for a label to do this in 2010, just to kind of do it as a kind of a retrospect, kind of clever marketing, definitely makes it look unique. Very cool, and that's by Sense. So this is a really cool package. This is Poker Flat Records, volume 1 through 4. It's a 6-disc CD set. There's a couple double CDs in here, but just nice and simple. Kind of has a, you know, fold out. It's still sealed. From 2006 this came out, and I have all these original on vinyl and CDs, so I have never wanted to open this, but I got this for a good price because Tower Records was closing down, and I got this for a steal. I can't even remember what I paid for, like $10 or something like that. And but just a cool kind of, you know, cool kind of way to store 6 CDs. Just a nice package overall. Also, here's Surgeons. This is a reissue of his first 3 albums on Trezor Records. Nice job they did on this too. Simple packaging, nice and clean, and all 3 CDs inside. You know, kind of similar to that Sisters of Mercy record I showed you. But yeah, original artwork as well. Nice clean package. Small thin CDs. You know, it goes perfect in here without much effort. You know, which is really nice. Just nice and clean. Also, here's a really nice package. This one's even thinner. This one's Robert Plant's 20 Years of Being on Implant. This is also sealed too. I got this in 2014, and I haven't opened yet. I have most of these on vinyl. But just a great collection of Robert Hood's early stuff. And really nice packaging. And look how thin that is for 3 CDs. But it's still really stable. Great edges. Nice and sturdy. Cool artwork. Really nice package they did on Implant. 20 years of Implant music. Great retrospect, by the way. Here's Rain Tree Crow. This is the album where the members of Japan got back together and recorded. Just really solid packaging. You know, CD just slides inside. And then the artwork fits, you know, the booklet, which is pretty thick, fits right next to it. Really nice. You know, fits really nice in there. Just really nice job they did on this Rain Tree Crow. Really nice packaging, great album. This was LTJ Buchan's Earth. This one actually has, it's a box, but it opens up, and then the CDs inside with the booklet, which is kind of interesting. So instead of sliding off like a normal box, it has a little bit of an edge to it. Also, Earth does the same thing. This is another one of theirs. Just opens up with the artwork inside. Got the pamphlet here, and just closes up nicely. So that's interesting, and a little bit different than well, actually here's another one as well. This one's SETI. This one's some great ambient music. Big box set too, but this one I think is 7 CDs, and you can see all the different artwork in there. And yeah, it's a big ambient collection on SETI's work. Yeah, very cool. That one also has a sort of a spine and a flap to it. And then you have like these ones where this is, I haven't opened this one yet, but this is a Poles 3 box set. 1, 2, 3. I have these individually, but I still wanted to buy the box set. This one has your normal box where you lift it up like a box of chocolates. And there's these ones that have been coming out on You Sound. Not sure if any of you guys have seen this. Some great ones from, here's a couple from Dub Syndicate and Creation Rebel. Basically what they did was they have a box, and then they released and reissued all their albums, and then some B-sides or, you know, demos or what have you. But how cool is that, right? Especially if you know how expensive some of these early dub records on, you know, it just makes it so worthwhile to grab these. I think these are like, I think the latest one came out, it was like $60. I need to get it. It's the others, Dub Syndicate, but I mean, when you can get all their albums, I mean, you know, I mean, here you got a nice pamphlet in here. You got, you know, every album. Their first 5 albums here. You know, just great stuff. I think the next Dub Syndicate, I think that one is the next 5 albums after these. But this one's 1982 to 1985. So I think the next one's like 87 to like 93. So definitely worthwhile compilations if you like Adrian Sherwood and all the great dub stuff that he's been involved in. And Dub Syndicate, man, I was just a huge fan, as well as Creation Rebel. On You Sounds has just done some amazing box sets and amazing albums over the last 40 plus years. Also, another really cool box set is the Cluster box set, 1971 to 1981. Has a you know, opens up like that. Inside, I mean, you got two pamphlets, you know, of their work, 71, 76, 77 through 81. These are pretty thick, go over their history. And then you just got, I think there's 9 CDs of their work, you know, their albums. After the Heat's in here with Brian Eno, Cluster and Eno's, Zuckerzeit's on here. Cluster 2, Cluster 71, just amazing work from Cluster. You got all their albums here in this nice box set with the programs and additional catalog of the amazing label that it comes on, which I'm Bureau B, which is a fantastic label, especially for reissues. If you want to get some reissues of some great German electronic music, check out Bureau B. If they did Cluster, you can imagine what else music they've done. They've done Konrad Schlitzler's reissues as well. So if you're into any kind of German electronics, check out Bureau B. It's a wealth and a treasure trove of reissues of great electronic German music. And then lastly, I just want to speak real quick on some newer box sets that I've seen in newer CD cases that I've seen. First off, Eat Static's box set, for example. This is a great way to do anthologies. These are 3-disc sets. Inside, they fold out like your normal standard 2 CDs, but they got the 3rd CD in here. Inside, you got the liner arts. Nice job. Red Cherry is the one who's reissuing these. Cherry Red is the one who's reissuing these. Just great. If you're a fan of Eat Static. But these are just some great box sets. This is Implant, and then also Abduction. Same thing, just great artwork in here. And then you have the 3-disc CD set here, and inside here is the booklet. They do a great job on that. Also, very similarly, Wishes reissue that came out last year. Fantastic job on here. Booklet in both sides. Great job on this. This seems to be the way to go. This is the way to go to present an anthology or a box set. Great packaging they do. This is the ideal way to do a box set, in my opinion, in 2025, is use these type of cases. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that video in me showing a lot of random different cases and unique packaging from releases in my collection for the last 45 years. I hope you'll check out the next video where I'll be showing you some of my favorite cases and packaging in my entire collection that are CD related. So hope you'll be along for that video and check it out. And as always, I really appreciate your time in watching the videos, and if you have any comments, please leave them below, and we'll see you on the next video.
Electric Cafe.